Okay, right, we are live and here we go. Yep, we're live. Okay, so welcome everybody. My name's Ronnie from Equine Voices, and tonight's interview is with Michelle and Scout from Scout's Trail, who I was very, very honoured and lucky to do an interview back in April, and I turned that into a podcast. So that was really, really lovely to meet them and chat with them. And Michelle contacted me and says, when do you want to do the next one? So here we are. And it's going to be a recap of their story, a little bit about their introduction story. And then they're going to tell us about what they've been up to and their new horse that they've got into the herd, which is a wild Mustang called Tuk Tuk. But I'll let them explain all about it because they're a lot better at that than I am. So I shall now bring them in. Welcome, Michelle and Scout, and it's so lovely to see you again. And thank you for coming on. So there you go. The floor's yours, and just give a little introduction about yourself.
Do you want to go first?
You can go first.
Well, thanks for having us again. We are traveling full time. We're in our third year now. And we sold all our possessions and our home in August of 2019, basically for mental health, to improve our mental health, which was really in a bad way. And in the past 2 and however many years and however many months, we've been seeing America by horseback. And we have been happy and healthy. And Scout has always been unschooled, which is a type of homeschooling of experiential learning. And that continues as we travel. We've been meeting wonderful people. And I think the first year of our journey, we needed a lot of help. And we had a lot of trail magic where people showed up right when we needed them. And now, nearing the end of our second year, we found that things shifted and we started to be the ones to provide the trail magic. And we were showing up in places that our horses were needed and we were needed to help in some way. And Scout's been fulfilling dreams. And one of the most recent ones, she has published a book. And that's available on Amazon. And she is working with the illustrator on her second book, which will be available early next year. And she also has trained a baby Mustang at Liberty, and he's now traveling with us. So we have 4 horses now that are traveling with us, and we have 2 dogs. And right now we're in Arizona. We just kind of follow the weather. We float like Mary Poppins, maybe. We just go where the wind blows us and the opportunities take us and the good weather is, and we're just always where we need to be.
Mary Poppins is a good analogy of you guys. That's so funny. So just remind everybody Scout, how old are you?
I'm 12.
So you're 12 and you're looking really well, guys. I must say you look so well. So it's obviously agreeing with you, everything that you're doing. Scout, do you want to tell everybody about Tuk Tuk? And first of all, how did you get into the program with the Wild Mustang? How did that happen?
Well, when I think I was maybe 7 or 8, I went to my first Mustang makeover. And I guess I already knew that people could train wild horses, but I didn't know that kids could do it. So ever since then, I've kind of been slightly obsessed with the idea of training Mustangs. And we were talking with the girls who are doing 5,000 miles, 5,000 Mustangs. And they wanted to hear about traveling and how to set up their rigs. And I had mentioned that someday I wanted to train a Mustang. And Hannah Catalino said, well, when that time comes, I would love to help you. So we weren't really planning on doing it for a while because we do have a 4-horse trailer, but the 4th stall is for storage. But we didn't know after this whole trip what they'd be doing. So we took up her offer and started training Tuk Tuk almost 2 months ago. And for the first 2 weeks, I worked with Hannah, and he became a great little trail pony.
I've seen some of your videos, and you put one on recently on your Instagram of you guys going off, and Tuk Tuk was just following. So you had him totally at liberty. And that he looked so comfortable. He just looked like he fitted in, and he'd been there for years.
Oh, yeah.
So how did you meet Tuk Tuk? Was he picked for you, or did you choose him? How does that work? So if you just want to explain how it works in your first few sort of sessions.
Well, how we picked him was we gave Hannah kind of, I guess, what we were looking for, and we let her do the picking. So she narrowed it down to an older, like 5 or 6-year-old horse, and Tuk Tuk.
What were the qualities that were
We
important?
wanted curiosity was the really big one, and a younger horse.
And big, long legs, so it'd be a larger
Mustang.
And would you let her expertise kind of narrow down our choices so we would be successful? And those first 2 weeks where Scout was mentored by Hannah and learned how to do that gentling entirely at liberty was also filmed to be an instructional video. So Tuk Tuk and Scout are the stars of that instructional video, which I think will be available at the end of the year through Hannah Catalino's website. But then we've been on our own ever since, and we went to Washington for another 2 weeks.
Yep.
At a friend's house where we had all the things to progress him further so that we could feel comfortable traveling. So they had 100 acres of trails and arenas and obstacle courses, and it was great. And then, so by then we'd had him a month, and we started traveling full time, and yeah, he's been doing great. He fits right into the herd, and that last ride that you saw, he was perfect. And I think, he was in the wild for 8 months, so he was born and trained by his herd to follow a herd. So staying with the herd is not like we did anything special. He trusts us, and we are his herd now, so he's certainly going to just stay with us. That's ingrained in him. Those are his instincts. So but establishing that trust in the beginning, in the method that Scout gentled him, made a huge difference. So he's been a lot of fun.
You must be so proud of Scout, and yourself, because obviously she's your daughter, and she's learned a lot from you. You're building her confidence, watching you grow as well, and it's lovely to watch your journey. So obviously, I don't know you personally; I just know you from our little chat last time and watching you. But I can see your confidence in both of you has grown hugely, and I don't know, it's just such a lovely vibe, and listening to you talking, and the affection that you have for the people that you meet on your journey, and the animals that share their life with you, and you share your life with them. It's lovely. And I think I said to you last time that you gave a spark of inspiration for me to do something, and it hasn't happened yet, but that spark it's still there, and I'm progressing, but it's not happened, so I'm not going to say what it is yet. And it might take me a while, but I don't care, because it's just there, and it's ignited, and it's still glowing. And that was from you guys, watching you guys. It's something that I wanted to do, but it was like, that's never going to happen. So it's not going to be on your level by any means, but who knows? But it'll be my little adventure. So I'm very grateful to you for giving me that spark wherever I take it. I mean, it's down to me at the end of the day. So what happens next with Tuk Tuk? What's your next plans for the next few weeks, few months, Scout? And then what happens afterwards?
Ooh, That's a good question. I think for the next few weeks or months, just getting him better, getting his endurance up and his muscles up for trail riding. Our longest ride so far was 7.5 miles. And then probably sometime in late winter, early spring, we're gonna sell him, and I'll hopefully get my next Mustang.
So what is your goal that you want to do?
I would like to be able to maybe have him pack a little bit as a
I mean, like, what I mean, like, with Mustang training, why are you doing this?
My goal for Mustang training is to get as many Mustangs out of holding pens as possible.
So she's training them to be great trail horses and then rehome them to people who want great trail horses. So if she keeps training them and adopting them out, that's her journey that she's working towards now.
So, Michelle, do you want to explain what the holding pens are for people that don't know? I'll let you explain. I've got an idea what it is, but if you explain what happens to the wild horses and before they go into the pen.
Well, not to make any controversial conversation about wild horses, because there's so much to know and understand, and there's so much maybe misinformation, but what we care about primarily is the horses get round up, whether we want them to be round up or not. They have been, and they're sitting in holding pens right now. I think there are probably 53,000 wild Mustangs in holding pens in the United States, and in order for them we want them to get a good home, so they're available for adoption, most of them. But even when they get adopted, if someone doesn't know how to work with them, they still could end up in a bad way. So by us taking one and giving it a really good start and a really good foundation before it gets adopted, then it has a much greater chance of being successful and living out a great life with a great family, and not having to stay in the holding pen or end up in some other bad situation after adoption, if it wasn't trained well and started well. So that's what the holding pens are. The horses have, it's not like we're going out and taking horses out of the wild. They've already been, Tuk was actually in a holding pen for almost a year. So he was born in the wild, and he was round up when he was 8 months old, and he's 18 months old now. So he spent almost a year in a holding pen. At 8 months old, he would have been separated from his mom when he got there, and hit from most of his herd, and there he sat until we got him. So that's what the holding pens are. It's just a place. I mean, generally they're really big. They're given hay and water and shelter for the most part, and the spaces are large, but they can have a great, obviously you can see the great life Tuk is having now. It's better than when it was in the holding pen. So she wants to get as many as she can out and into good homes, and that's what her mission is now, as she's about to become a teenager, and she wants to start her business. So it'll be horse training, and she's a published author, and she's a commissioned artist. So she's got lots of talents and things that she can do as she's getting older.
She certainly has. Oh my goodness. I mean, traveling, horse training, author, that's some achievement, Scout, some achievement. That's brilliant. And it's such a nice thing to do. And how lucky is Tuk to end up with you guys, to have that nice first experience of what it's like to be, interacting more with humans. That's just amazing. What have you learned from him? What is something that's maybe surprised you or that's touched you and made you reflect about yourself? What's the one point? I'm sure there's lots, but just think of a point that sticks in your mind. So we'll go with you first, Michelle.
Well, I guess for me, the most remarkable thing hasn't necessarily been one thing about Tuk Tuk, but Scout's whole experience. It was extremely intense training for her. A lot of the things that she learned, she had been exposed to before. Things were said to her that she's heard before, but she never worked on it with that intensity. So every day for 2 weeks, she had 3 training sessions a day, and they could last anywhere from 1 to 2 hours. So it was, plus we were, taking care of the other horses, and sometimes she did extra work with our horses just so she could learn. And so it was amazing to see her have such complete understanding after that intensive training and mentorship. Now, as we're traveling, people invite us frequently to come stay with them. And Scout is now able to go and work with other people's horses and help them. And so she's, without my guidance, she can go out there. And that's really impactful to me, that she's on her own, can just go do it. She doesn't need my help, that she has complete understanding and ability, and her, she has lightness, and she has knowing and good timing, and she's just a very accomplished trainer already. And that was really the big thing for me that came out of the whole experience with Tuk Tuk. And she certainly has learned patience. Her patience is so much better now, because she knows she can't do it any other way than with patience with him. It's so important.
Wow, that's some statement. Hey, Scout, from your mum. And she says that with such pride, which is lovely. So for you, Scout, what's one of the main things that you feel has helped you, or Tuk Tuk has highlighted something in you, or your mum maybe?
Well, I guess I would have to say when we could finally let him ride free behind us. It was such a amazing moment to watch him just be taken off of the lead rope like he's been doing it his whole life, and just follow behind us. I mean, even at one point he kind of thought we were going one way because Woody, our other loose horse, walked off that way. And he's like, oh, wait, no, you're going the other way. And he just turned right around and trotted up with us. And I don't know if that was really impactful, but it was definitely the highlight of my experience so far.
Oh.
Yeah. Nice to know that he wants to be with us.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, in a natural environment in the wild, they would follow the herd anyway. But he could have just gone off if he wanted to, if he wasn't, and he wanted to stay with you. So it was his choice, which is lovely. So I'm so excited. I can't wait to see, what happens next, and whoever ends up having Tuk Tuk as their companion is going to be one lucky person. One lucky person. So somebody's just made I'm going to say a comment. I don't know who that is. Says, wow, so amazing for Scout, age 12. A wonderful future ahead. She definitely does have a wonderful future. And Sam, hi Sam, says feel safe. The horse feels. I'm assuming she means the horse feels safe, which you can see that definitely. So you're in Sedona now, aren't you? But because you was going to be moving on, wasn't you? Is that right?
No, we left Sedona. We're in Wickenburg.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So is that the same time zone? It is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just 2 hours south. We just
Yeah.
moved 2 hours south.
Yep.
Yeah, because I know you was, when we planned to do this, you was going to be moving, and then you sort of changed your mind. But
well, yes, we were supposed to go to Texas, and that got changed to I teach wilderness medicine classes, and the class moved from Texas because apparently the Rio Grande is so low that they can't raft down it, which was supposed to be a rafting adventure. And so now they're doing a mountain bike adventure on the Arizona Trail. So it was kind of more convenient, really, that they come here and we didn't have to drive all the way to Texas. So,
Right. So
yeah,
has
so as we travel around, some of the things we do as we teach wilderness medicine and trail safety classes, and we give talks about our lifestyle and how we do things, and show them our rig, and how we manage the whole rig and all the animals, and how we camp. And we boondock, which means we just park in the wilderness and set up and stay there, with no resources, just we're self-contained. And so we teach people about how we do that. So we have a lot of, and sometimes we just do lectures, and Scout talks about how she overcame her riding anxiety and all of that. And so a variety of things we do.
great. So you don't suffer with anxiety now, do you, Scout?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's just I love watching you. It's just amazing. So Heidi from Colorado says hi. Heidi from Colorado. Maybe that was the one that was talking about your age, maybe. Okay, because I didn't know who that was. Great. So Michelle, can you just tell me a little bit more about the medicine that you teach? So it is that something that you've learned as you've gone along, or did you used to teach that before? Because I
No,
know.
I'm an international instructor,
Mm-hmm.
and I have been for about 15 years. And so I teach wilderness first responder classes, and it's designed to help people who travel outside the 911 system. So, you can't dial up an ambulance, that you're remote, either, remote in the backcountry, remote on the ocean, remote in a third world part of the third world country. And if something goes wrong, you have to take care of the person, and you're in charge of their care until you can get them to a hospital. So that might be hours or days. And so that's something I have been teaching. It's the only thing I continued with after I retired, because I can do that as I travel around. So I continue. And then we've kind of made a shortened version of that class for trail riders. So the many of the classes I teach are certification classes. So people get a certification, which they can use for employment if they need to. But we also just teach a class with no certification for trail riders. And it's usually a 2-day class. And we just teach them a lot of the basics and first aid kits, and horse and dog first aid. And we gear it to whatever interests them.
Mm-hmm.
And that we also do as we travel around for groups.
But that's something really special and a gift to do as well, isn't it? It's life saving, obviously, if needed.
Yeah, it's real important. We've really discovered as we've traveled all over the country that too many people just ride their horses out and they're unprepared for an emergency of any kind, whether it's getting lost or getting hurt. So we try to get more education to trail riders.
Yeah, that's probably the same similar sort of thing here. But our obviously where you trail ride, it's vast. It's huge, so it's a little bit different. But we do have people that go out trail riding, and around the Lake District, we have a beautiful area around the Lake District, and there's a lady there, and she has fjord horses, fjord ponies, which she's trained, and she has people that go out with her. So she's like, she goes out and they follow her. So they take their own horses, and she shows them the routes, and that's lovely. So that's something she's started doing. She's been doing that for a while now, and it's a lot more interested because people want to. they want to see a bit more of the UK, and but they want to do it on the horses, which is great. And there's lots of B&Bs and farmers have places. So if you want to travel around, you can stay on the farm, and they provide accommodation. So it's a lot more diverse than it used to be, I think. Definitely.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. We hope we can do that one day. Just ride across the country and you're, whether it's in the UK or Ireland or Scotland, they all have those. Like, it does sound like a lot of fun.
Oh, you should come to the UK. That would be brilliant. That would be so nice. It would be so nice to meet you in person if that happened. But you should definitely come. Scotland, Ireland, the Lake District, the Yorkshire Dales. There's some beautiful places, and we have hills and mountains, but not as fast as yours. Although the Scottish might disagree to that, actually. some amazing outback mountains there. So what would you like to talk about now? What else has been happening with you guys?
Well, Scout could maybe tell you about what's happening with her writing.
Well, I have another book in the works. It is
review your first book first.
Well, I already have a book that's published. It's called A Magical Friendship Journey. I wrote it when I was 8, and it was published in January of 2021.
Where can they get it?
They can get it on the Barnes & Noble website, on Amazon, and on my personal page, amagicalfriendshipjourney.com. And then my book that's in the works now is a version of Cinderella, and it's currently being illustrated by a very wonderful artist.
And
is that
give
the
a
same
little hint about it?
So it is a Cinderella story, but it's Mongolian culture.
Oh, I remember you talking about this. Was that your friend that you met when you went to Mongolia?
Yes.
Yeah. I remember you talking about that. Brilliant. Is it the same artist that is going to do the pictures inside that did your last book?
No, it is not. It's a different girl.
No. Okay. Well, shall look forward to that. And what I'll do is, if you send me the info, and then I'll stick it on the bottom of this live, and then people that want to find it can find it. So I don't know if there's anybody got any questions. I'm seeing if there's any. Has anybody got any questions that they'd like to ask Scout or Michelle? So it usually takes a little while if anybody wants to. Okay, so what is your plans coming up for Christmas? Obviously, we've just had Halloween, and did you celebrate Halloween?
Yes, we did. We'll hopefully be getting some pictures out of me and Tuk Tuk soon.
Did you go fancy dress?
It was a costume.
You can tell them who you were.
Tuk Tuk's name we got from the wonderful, amazing movie called Raya and the Last Dragon. And Tuk Tuk, where's the little doll? So in the movie, this is Tuk Tuk. And he is, when he's a baby at the beginning of the movie, he rides on Raya's shoulder. And then 7 years in the future, when the movie really gets started, Raya rides him. So I feel like someday that could be me and Tuk Tuk. So that's why I named him that. And I was Raya for Halloween.
Cool. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I think for Christmas, we're going to go back to Sedona to some friends. And Scout's birthday is also around Christmas, and she'll be 13. So we're going to go there so we can have a nice celebration and with some friends. And I think that'll be a pretty place to spend Christmas. Mm-hmm. But until then, we're just going to kind of float around Arizona and continue training Tuk Tuk and riding with him. And at some point, he will wear a little pack saddle. And, he's growing like crazy, and we're very careful to not overstress him. He's a long way from being ridden, but he has worn a saddle just to know what it feels like. And he can carry a pack that's empty or something just to get used to the feel and to understand that's a role he may play someday. So those
Mm.
are the kinds of things uh, that we'll keep working on. And we working with all of our horses. They all love to work and train, and they've all been doing liberty training now and trick training. And so depending on where we happen to be staying and what facilities are around us, we are, and all of them love. It's very fun because like Scout has been working on bridleless riding, and we're camping inside the pen with the horses. So we have, I think, about an acre fenced in where we are. So they just are, we're in here, the campers in here, the trailers in here, the horses are in here. So she'll go out and start training, and everyone's there. Everyone wants to participate. Everybody likes to train, and she's riding one horse, and all the rest are following her. And so it's nice to know that they are enjoying their life and enjoying all that we do with them. They're eager to want to be with us. And in the morning, we usually have 4 sets of eyes staring in the windows, wondering when breakfast will be served.
I bet that is so cool. I saw the.
Especially, especially her giraffe of a horse. He comes right up to my window and puts his nose up against the screen, just like, "Slave girl, where are you?"
Yep.
Oh, that's so funny. I saw your photograph where they was all lined up, and you said they're having is it a movie night where you'd feeding all the horses and they're watching the training.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that's funny, but they are because they're inquisitive, aren't they? And they like to see, and they don't feel left out. If somebody's
No.
getting
Not
some
at all.
fun, they want to be in on the act. Okay, so this must be Heidi. Oh, it's Heidi. Heidi from Colorado. Hi, Heidi. I think it's because you have to give StreamYard permission to use your photograph. So if people, this live is going through StreamYard, and because it's separate from Facebook, that you have to give permission that you can use Facebook's photograph, your photograph. So that's what that is, Heidi. That's why you can't see your photo. You just have to click I give permission to StreamYard. But thanks for stopping on by, and Sam as well. Sam's my friend. She's moved her herd of horses, and my horse is missing them hugely because she's on her own at the minute. And I knew she would miss them, but I didn't realize how it would affect her. But hopefully she's going to have some company soon. But yeah, I feel bad for her, bless her. Okay. Right. So, is there anything else you'd like to? Because I don't want to keep you because I know you've got a busy day. Anything else that you'd like to talk about? So we've talked about your book, your new book, and Tuk Tuk, and everybody else. How is the dogs doing? How are they all doing after the operation?
Yeah, the Puck is doing great. He had his second knee operated on 3 weeks ago. His first knee healed up 100%, and his second knee now, every day as it gets better and stronger and less pain, he's so happy. And actually, where we are right now is a really nice space because we can give him freedom, because there's nothing here, there's nothing he can, it's all nice and flat terrain, which is what he's required to walk on, and it's all fenced, so there's nothing that he can hurt himself on. So he's allowed a little freedom and a little physical therapy by wandering around a little bit. So it's really good for his mental health too, because he's been so confined for almost a year now. So the hopes are that by the end of the year, he's going to be able to start trail riding again. And his knee surgeries were extremely successful. He's going to be 5 in December, but he's still very young and has a long life ahead of him. And his Lyme disease is, I don't know if remission is the word, but it's currently not active. So he doesn't have to take any medication. So it's all really good things for Puck. And Kaya, our small dog that rides in my lap, is eagerly waiting for him to be better so she can get back on the trail too. So I think this winter will be quite the circus going down the trail with 4 horses and 2 dogs. But it's a lot of fun.
And Mr. Nelson.
Oh yeah, Mr. Nelson. We added a monkey.
Who's
So
Mr. Nelson?
well, my favorite show when I was a little girl was Pippi Longstocking. And if you're familiar with Pippi Longstocking, she had an Appaloosa who she rode on bridleless and saddleless, and she had a monkey named Mr. Nelson that rode on the Appaloosa. So we're always looking to make our day more fun. So our Appaloosa Hedawudi now has a monkey, Mr. Nelson, that rides on her. Not a real monkey.
That's what that
But
thing is that I've seen on the back. I wonder what it
But-
was.
yes, so if you notice, yeah, we now have added that to our. So yeah, we like to have a lot of fun when we ride. The Joker's currently standing at the door, looking in the window at us.
He's probably
I
saying,
want
"Where
to turn around and show.
go on,
him.
show." That'd be so cool.
He's right here, Joker. What are you doing? Huh?
That is so
Did you
cool.
come for snacks? Good boy.
Oh, bless him.
Yeah, so they come up and think that they should be getting snacks or carrots. They're ready for their grain. But yeah, we like to have fun. We spend so much time riding. She knows Pippi too. We like to. Our rides are fun. We're not. A lot of people we don't enjoy riding just to get to the end of the trail. We just like to explore. We get down and look at things. We have fun. We laugh hysterically. We take our time. We just want to have a really good time and a fun ride. And, if a horse is having a problem, then we stop and work it out or whatever. So we want to have fun riding. And that's Mr. Nelson has added some fun to us. I guess we've been doing this for so long, we have to keep changing it up.
And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that, Michelle. Yeah, I saw. I was looking at the video and thinking, what's that on the back? So that all makes sense now. So now I know who it is.
Well, you'll have to look up and see Pippi Longstocking.
I've heard the name, but I don't know a lot about. But obviously, Martha
and her
does.
Horse, her Appaloosa is named the Old Man, and so which is perfect because our
little old man. Because
Hedawudi is our little old lady. She's 31, so it's perfect.
She's doing amazing. 31.
Yeah, I think its full name is what, Lillabago?
Yeah, there's something that's difficult to say, but she calls him little old man.
You guys are having such a life experience, and I'm sure there's lots of people out there that watch and think, "Oh goodness, I wish I could do that." Or, and I know you said before, Scout, that you've just got to get on and do it, and no point in just wishing. And even if somebody saw one of your videos and one of your posts and had a little inspiration, a little light bulb moment, thought, I'm going to try something, and whatever that is, and it be their nice experience, that'll be such a gift to give to somebody.
Exactly. Like, you don't have to be as kind of radical as we were, but I'll tell you a story about our first adventure and how it progressed to what we do now. But Scout is almost 13, but when she was 6 was when I chose our first grand adventure. So what would I choose? Taking a 6-year-old to Mongolia, of course. What else? And that seems like if anyone said they wanted to do that, you would of course imagine that's out of reach, that's unattainable. So my solution was I bought a one-way ticket or 2 one-way tickets to Mongolia and paid for them. And that committed me. So now I had to do it because otherwise I would lose my money from the tickets. And so then I wanted to go to Japan to visit my son. So then we bought tickets from Mongolia to Japan. And so that's how we did it. I just bought it piece by piece. And then by the time it was time to go to Mongolia, I had paid for the whole thing and researched it, and we just did it. But if you sit around waiting to like think there's a right time, or you'll just never do things. And the same with our travel. When we first started traveling, there was so much to know, and of course I learned it all the hard way. But we just traveled within our comfort zone, and which was a lot different than it is now. And as we learned more, we could spread our wings more. But you got to just get started,
You've got to
and
take that first
you got to
first
just take
step.
that first step. It can be little, it's okay, but yeah, you
Yeah.
can't just wish. A lot of people comment to Scout that they wish, but they can do things. You just gotta go do it. I think we don't subscribe to the box that society says you should live in. We don't think the order of things that you're supposed to achieve as you go from child to adult is required for everyone, that everyone should choose their own path and follow what their path is for themselves, and not worry what other people think. So I wanted Scout to learn that, and she definitely does, I believe. And so that's what more people have to do. I think until you can make your brain understand that, you're not going to take the leap, because you're going to think you have to fit in the box.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my little leaps, again, not compared to yours, but then you can't compare yourself. That's one thing
No.
we shouldn't do, is like, I see your life, and I would, in a heartbeat, saying that, but then I would love to do that. I'd be quite happy just living in the field with a caravan or something, just to be able to wake up and see my horse in the morning. And as I say that, I'm just getting a lump in my throat, because my heart yearns for. Actually, I'm feeling quite emotional as I'm saying that. So, and this is when you have to listen to your gut, your intuition, and or something saying something to you. So it doesn't mean to say that I have to, okay, I give my job, I pack everything up and I go. But what it's saying to me is, because as I'm saying that, I'm feeling it, is, okay, you want this, but what are you going to do about it? How far are you going to go with this? So that is what, to me, is following your gut, your intuition. Somebody can give you inspiration, you can admire them, and think, I'd love a little bit of that, or to do that. But it's more about what it's given to you. So it's about the freedom and the just spending the time with your animal, and being with another being, another creature that you see as an equal. You're a partnership. It's not just a horse or a dog or a cat or whatever it is you want to go off with. It's another being, and it's experiencing that bit of life with that being.
And that is one of the really most fun things. Before we did this, our horses did live at home. They lived in the backyard, and we saw them every day, and we spent a lot of time with them. But it was nothing like what this is. And now that we live together as one herd, we get such a different relationship. And yes, we're partners, and we work together, and we listen to what they say and what they're telling us, and they listen to us. And yeah, it's amazing to be with your animals. But it doesn't, even if this is not your dream, people who are listening, like, whatever your dream is, people shouldn't be afraid to follow their dreams, or to think they can't because someone's telling them they can't. I think I see a lot of people are affected by outside influences. So if someone says they can't do it or they shouldn't do it, they listen up. I've never listened to that kind of talk. Like, if I want to do something, actually, if you tell me I can't do it, I'll probably try even harder to do it.
I believe that totally, Michelle.
So that's yeah, and you just can do it. There's nothing that stops you if you really want to. You just have to work at it.
I know that feeling because years ago, because I'm 5'1", I think, or maybe just a little bit under. I might have shrunk by now. And I can remember I wanted to be cabin crew. And when I was at school, if you wanted to be cabin crew, you had to be so tall and slim, and you had to know like 3 languages. So I thought, well, that's not me. That's not going to happen. And I was never top of the class or middle. I was sort of just floating below. And then I remember I did get a job at an airport, and it was like in the duty free area. And I used to see the air hostesses, the cabin crew coming and going. And I thought I'd love to do that. And then I applied for a job on a small airline, and it was small aircrafts. So there was no height restriction. So I got a job as cabin crew, and it was a sole cabin crew. So it was only the flight deck and yourself. So you was the senior, the lower cabin crew, you was everything. And I loved it. And it gave me such experience. And how to get over air sickness was the first one. I used to be in the back of the aircraft, and they don't fly very high altitude. I think 19,000 feet, because these were prop aircrafts. So you'd get all the turbulence. And I remember the first day I was in the back of the aircraft with a big bin liner, being a little bit sick.
Oh no.
And thinking, oh my goodness, am I ever going to get over this? Which I did. And when I applied for the bigger airlines, my first application, I was honest. I wrote my height and everything, and I got a letter back saying, "I'm really sorry, but you're not tall enough," and that was it. And I sat there thinking, well, that's that then. And then I think it was about 4 weeks later, I thought, no, it's not. So I wrote again, and this time I put, I'm 5'2" and a bit. And I thought, I'm gonna try again. And I got an interview. And I thought they would measure you. So I did my hair similar to how I have now. And I put it really high with a bun thing in it. So if they measured me, they'd be about 2 inches from the top of my hair. And they didn't measure me, and I got the job, and I loved it. So in answer to your, what you just said about you've got to just go for it, not believe what people tell you. I achieved that, and I'm so proud of it. And I loved it. Absolutely loved it. But I left there to work with horses, and because that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I'm doing now. Which, yeah. So I think the hardest thing is believing in yourself. Having
That's
confidence
what
in yourself.
Scout has achieved. She had really low self-esteem and did not believe in herself. So this whole journey has changed her in enormous ways, and that's certainly one. Now she knows she can do anything she wants, and she just has to go out there and try and make it happen.
And you can see that in her face. I mean, I'm looking at you now, Scout, and I can you're just glowing. You both are. And I'm not just saying that because I'm talking to you now, but you're just exuding this beautiful calmness and confidence. I can feel the confidence shining through, and I don't think there's anything that you couldn't do if you put your mind to it. What you want to do, you achieve, and you have done so far. So hands up to you guys. It's been lovely chatting with you. I think we're going to just finish with Scout, and if you'd like to, is there anything you'd like to say to people that are maybe thinking about doing especially if they're younger people that have dreams, but they're maybe not at that age where they think they can achieve them yet? What would you like to say to them?
Oh, that's a hard one.
Speak from your heart. What have you gained from this? So what would you say to somebody else? Because what have you gained from this experience?
Think about a girl who maybe would love to do this, but she's the only one in her family who thinks that way. What would you say to her to give her encouragement?
Just don't give up.
Not to give up.
Hmm.
To have a dream, not to give up.
And I know Scout has fought really hard. The first 2 years were really hard for her to not give up. It was a really hard work when she was fighting anxiety and depression. But every day she'd do something a little more, and she would push herself a little, and she would cry, because it would be hard. And but then she'd overcome it, and she'd be proud, and she'd push herself just enough, but not too much that it wasn't something she couldn't handle. And now she does things that amaze me. Like yesterday, she just jumped on my horse with no bridle or saddle and rode him around. And then the horse that she had her wreck on, she did the same thing yesterday. And she just has such confidence. She's not afraid of things anymore. And if she's a little nervous, she'll still go do it, where before it could paralyze her. So just go do it step by step. Don't just believe in yourself. And after you've taken a few little steps and you look back, all of a sudden you realize how much progress you've made. And that's what I think kept moving her forward, is she'd look back and she would be amazed at the progress she made. Even though every day seemed hard, all of a sudden she realized how much further ahead she was.
Do you find, Scout, that when you look back at the young girl, the young lady that's you a few years ago, do you look at her and think, wow, look at you now? Do you feel proud of yourself?
I think the truck is here.
Sorry, the trash truck is here.
It's okay.
Yes, I do think that I do that.
You look back at that young lady and think you've come a long way and how proud you are of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's not about having perfect, rosy, sunny days every day. You still have your ups and downs, but the rate, the quickness that you pick yourself back up is a lot better. You don't stay in those places for long, do you?
Yeah, no, not a lot.
No. So, and that's important to say to people, that it's not going to be a case of you're just going to keep going up and up and up and it's all jolly all the time. It isn't, because it is hard work, as your mum just said. But but when you push yourself and you experience those amazing things that you're achieving, it just helps you for the next time. That's brilliant.
I think the last time where I really had a down day was where I was just really off my game was the 4th day of training tuk-tuk, so almost 2 months ago. That was like a day where I guess we were both kind of off our game. It was just really hard for both of us for some reason. And then I went to go work with my horses, and Woody, the little Appaloosa, she was really easy to work with. I did the exact same thing I did with Tuk-Tuk. Coda, my horse, she's half draft, half quarter horse. So she is naturally a very pushy horse. And then my mom's horse, Joker, who's very observant, he did the exact same thing with Tuk-Tuk and helped me work through it. So I think my last, I want to say bad day, not my last bad day, but my last day where I was off my game was the 4th day of training Tuk-Tuk.
So the 4th day.
Yeah,
that
was probably a bit of a harder day for us, but.
So that's but 4th day, that's not bad for 4th day.
Yeah, it was not.
So how many weeks is it now that you've had Tuk-Tuk?
We started training him September 2nd. It's November 4th now, so almost 2 months. Yeah, 2 months, almost. Yeah.
Yes, 8 weeks, and he's just following you around, and that's That's lovely. So the next plan is to maybe put some pack on him to see how he goes with starting to be a pack horse.
Probably not for another few months. Right now we're just working on building up his endurance and being able to ride longer distances.
And building up his muscles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll just wait for your mum to come back, and then we can say goodbye to everybody. Let you guys. So what have you got planned for the rest of the day?
Probably go work with the people we're staying with. Their 2 horses. Maybe go for a swim. They have a pool here, so that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me go see where my mum is.
Let's go and have a look at the horses.
Let's go see the ponies. Got stepped on twice today, so I got kind of a sore foot.
Oh no.
Come on, Kaya. Good girl. So here are the ponies getting loaded on for lunch.
Oh, so you feed them inside?
Yeah, right. Obviously, you can see it's very sandy here. So we're just working on them. One we want Tuk-Tuk to load into the trailer by himself. But also it's so they don't ingest sand.
Yeah. I could hear you walking across the sun, Michelle. Listen, guys, I'm going to let you get off because you've obviously got stuff to do. Thank you so much for chatting with us again. It's so nice to catch up with you, and I look forward to the rest of your journey, and hopefully chat again at some point next year. But yeah, I'm just in awe of you guys, and it's lovely to see you. And I'm saying that again, Scout, you're blossoming, and stop hiding behind your mum.
There she is.
you were just
a mirror image.
You're just blossoming into such a lovely young lady, and
I can't operate the technology.
don't worry, Michelle, don't worry. Listen, guys, you get off and get off and do what you need to do, and we'll catch up with you again soon.
Okay. Thanks, Ronnie.
You're welcome. Bye. Take care. Bye. Right, guys, thank you very much for stopping on by. For those of you that have been watching, I hope you enjoyed this interview. I shall edit it and put it into a podcast, and that should be interesting for you to watch, to listen to as well, hopefully. Thanks again for your questions, and really appreciate that. And it was just so nice to chat with him. I hope you enjoyed it. It was just an informal chat tonight, so I hope you enjoyed it too. And if it's given you a spark of interest in something that you'd like to do, that would be lovely. And who knows where it may take you. Take care. Thank you. Bye for now, and see you very soon. Thank you very much. Bye.